Romeo and Juliet
you're
type status.
yeah, it's I was able to empathize a little bit with him because a few years ago my husband had a major health issue. So the thing is, we are very different people, and so we do handle things differently. But I remember the day I came home, I pulled into the driveway, and by the time I pulled into the driveway, my primary care doctor had already called me. So I was on the phone with her, and she was absolutely incredible. And my husband came in the driveway at the same time, and he got into the car, and we just, held hands and talked and cried.
Mhm.
I think I don't know if he actually shed tears. I was shedding too many to notice, but he was there, and just kind of with me in it. He didn't try to say anything, to make anything different. It was just kind of sitting in that truth together. And I think that's something he did throughout the process of my treatment is um early in our marriage, both of us had our things that we worked through, and something for Seth was trying to fix things. He always wanted to fix things and make things better. And um I think he like the work that we put in on ourselves and in our marriage to get to the point when this thing happened, that work showed up because he
Wow.
was there to support, but he wasn't there to fix. He was at every doctor's appointment. He drove me to every single chemo. Um, he was the one who was there bringing me coffee. And when I didn't like the taste of coffee, helping me find matcha and doing all these different things to be supportive, and allowing me to experience.
Can you help us understand this? Because I have the audience mixture of women and men. Men are naturally, I'm I need to fix the situation. Women are, I think, naturally, which is amazing. I want to fix the situation and I want to fix the emotion. How, how can how would you advise men to understand the real need in a time like that? Because I think most men would just jump to saying, "What can I fix for her?"
I mean, I think that instinct is great and comes from a place of extreme love. And so, I think there's certainly a place for that. And I um would encourage anyone who's, going through something where a partner is experiencing pain, to not overthink it, because um, showing up, even um, in not exactly the right way, is still showing up. And so I think that is something I learned a lot through this process, is that a lot of us are afraid in friendships and marriages and relationships to show up the wrong way. And so we just don't. Um, Sometimes it's easier to avoid. And that's more hurtful than anything else could be. And so I think I want to validate that instinct to fix it, because it comes from a place of love. But there's a lot of things in life we can't fix. And so,
Yes.
we choose our partners for a lot of reasons, but one of the big reasons that I knew my husband was the one is that we could be doing something or we could be doing nothing, and I always felt safe and loved and protected and comfortable. And we wrote our own wedding vows, and
Weed.
I and I in mine I said that there was no one that I was more myself with than my husband. And so um I think that, you know, if you can't fix it, to just sit in it with your person and identify the needs. That's a big thing of stopping, right? Is that when you stop and observe, you can start to see what someone actually needs at that point in time. And I couldn't anticipate my needs day to day. So I certainly wouldn't expect anyone else to be able to. And so I think really the biggest thing in supporting someone you love, and you know, for men, being that stabilizing force that I think, for better or worse, you know, men feel they need to be at times, is just presence. Presence is the most important thing, emotionally and physically.
I think, and this, you faced it with your husband. I believe strongly men can struggle with being there emotionally because what it's gonna crack inside of them. So it would look like Mandy's crying. I can't be crying. I can't be crying at the same time with her, or she's fighting this issue. I can't be doing the same thing at the same time, and it'd be good. Is that, does that sound wrong, or how does that sound?
No, it doesn't sound wrong. And certainly if it's experience, it can't be wrong. That my
Mhm.
perception would be the one that's wrong if that's what you're seeing is you know, what you've heard and observed. And I completely understand why, you know, why that would be the case. Is somebody in this situation has to be the strong one, and you know,
Yeah.
societally, we put that on men. And the thing is, though, nobody has to be the strong one in a situation. I mean, you know, there are times you just do what you have to do, and you know, that comes, and will happen. Um, but I never, you know, in any of my relationships, men, women, romantic, platonic, have ever felt when, you know, someone was sitting and empathizing with me, that was a lack of strength on that person's part. It's actually the opposite, I think, is to genuinely like, be there and connect with someone without needing to immediately spring into action, um, is really the strongest, most powerful thing you can do, because it's so vulnerable, and so it's such a strong, you build such a strong connection in that moment. um and so I've always seen connection and stillness as a sign of strength, more so than springing into action. And I am someone who does tend to spring into action. So, you know, I think there's a balance, but if you do one too much and abandon the other, it creates an imbalance.
You said something as we wrap up that I think I want people to really, especially couples, to really cling to. There are times where no one needs to be the strong one. I think that's when it becomes, we're in this together. Your feelings, your fears, my fears, versus, I've always said, if someone's being the strong one when you're not looking, what's happening to them? They're probably
And
uh, about to crash out, or something could be happening to them. But I want to leave you with a question, because for those, you wouldn't know because we didn't get a chance to air it, but we we recorded an episode last week, and loved the episode, and I went to start editing it, and one of our voices wasn't present.